Hello and welcome to Bruiser's Lockerroom's premiere episode. I'm very excited to get this started. I'm very happy to kind of put this passion thing together and really get started. Just super excited to get going. I love football and I love Baylor, and I just want to thank everyone who has supported the idea, helped me get here, and just really get the ball rolling on things. So what I'm going to try and do is have 15-minute segments, only 2 segments. First one's going to be called the line breakdown. That's essentially where I take things from the past, the nitty-gritty details, we really dive deep into it and see what the sauce is about. And then the next is going to be called the gold rush, where we're going to look at things in the future, things we're looking forward to, and things that are potentially going to go Baylor's way. And so, without further ado, let's begin the line breakdown. So, last season's record in terms of football, very disappointing. I know a lot of fans and a lot of us students very disappointed with the performance of the Baylor football team. Now, we came into the season ranked first in the Big 12, first time in Baylor history to ever do so. We also ranked 10th overall in the AP's poll of top 25. Shattering expectations after a historic season for Baylor, finishing 12-2 just the year prior. And unfortunately, we landed 6-6 in the regular season and 6-7 with the atrocious Air Force Bowl game, which also set record low temperatures for a bowl game in bowl game history. One of the big problems with this football team was its offense. We had a little bit of shaky defense, but where most of the problems stemmed from was this offensive mindset. And one of the big problems was Blake Shapen. People know me for calling him subpar Shapen because that's exactly how he played this season. He was very lackluster. Every time he rolled out of the pocket, he was very shaky, hesitant, didn't know what to do with the ball. And every time he stepped up in the pocket, he couldn't get rid of the ball. He didn't trust his receivers. He didn't have that great of eyesight or expansion for his receivers. And he would make some great plays every now and then, but the biggest shots you'd see him take was at least once every 2 games. It's very disappointing. After coming in, after Bohannon gets injured from the previous season, comes in the Tech game, wins 27-24, then leads the team in the Big 12 championship, which some people are going to give him credit for that win. I am not going to give him credit for that win. Yes, he did lead the team, but it was the defense in the end that stopped OSU from getting that game-winning touchdown, not Blake Shapen. So, all in all, again, his vision's lacking. He still needs to put in a lot of work. I get that he's a sophomore, but as I'm going to talk about later, we just had a big 4-star pickup at QB. I think his position's in trouble. Now, the second problem to this offense is Coach Grimes, offensive coordinator Coach Grimes. I like to call him Icky Grimes because a lot of his plays are not that good, just to put it simply, not that good. He lacked a lot of creativity on run plays. His favorite play for some reason was edge rushing on teams that had great edge run defense. We had tons of talent in the running back department, but he just couldn't seem to whip up some plays to effectively use Squirrel and Richard Reese, which is very unfortunate. And he was super conservative in big moments, and I believe what cost us that TCU game by 1 point. Dave Aranda's a smart guy. He did make a big decision in firing our defensive coordinator. So he knows what's happening. He knows how to make the big talks. He knows how to make the big decisions. Now it's just determining what we're going to do on offense. I really hope Aranda's having a talk with Grimes. They're really making some big decisions in the locker room and with the staff and get the offensive side of the ball actually going. So, some positives. Recruitment. We had a lot of transfers coming in, a lot of transfers coming out. We ranked 28th in transferring. We recruited in 32nd, and we had an overall placement of 33rd. So, not too terrible. They're in the top 50 of schools, which is great for Baylor. We're finally rising in that aspect. We signed 2 4-star recruits. Isaiah Robinson from Arlington, Texas. He's an offensive tackle. And Levar Thornton from Keller, Texas, he is a cornerback. Our biggest transfers is going to be Sawyer Robinson, just recently from Mississippi State. He was under the leadership of the late Mike Leach. Very great man, especially what he did at Tech. So having a quarterback that was under his expertise is going to be really great for this Baylor offense. And Isaiah Dunson from the University of Miami, 4-star cornerback, going to be great depth, adding great depth to our defense department. We got Dominic Richardson from OSU, another 4-star. He's a running back, so just adding more depth to our running game, which is great. We got Keytron Jackson from Arkansas. He's a 4-star wide receiver. Definitely adding a lot of skill needed in the sophomore class of wide receivers. So I really hope he puts in some leadership in this wide receiver team. We got Clark Barrington from BYU. He's a 4-star inside offensive lineman. This is a big pickup. Baylor was very lacking in the offensive line. Granted, Blake Shapen still had some great protection, but definitely a huge pickup for our offensive line. Good pickup. So all in all, we had 10 transfers coming in so far, and we've had about 20 commits, and that's a 30-player class of 2023, which is one of Baylor's best, so you have to give them that, with about 6 to 7 4-stars and about 19 to 23 3-stars. And some of the 3-stars, I've watched some of their film. We have a Titan from Arizona. Watch for him. He's going to be good. So now we get into a subject that I don't really like, and that's the NIL. And the NIL is name, image, and likeness. And we have now entered an era where colleges now pay players. We are now the NFL, apparently. We now have to pay players in order to get them to come to our university. And unfortunately, Baylor is very late to this game. Baylor is actually really late to this game. We've just formed our NIL board last month, like about 1 to 2 weeks ago. We're very late to this. Again, like I said, I'm not a fan. Players should come to the schools that are offered scholarships, that are offered what their best fit is, and how they see themselves progressing in the career. And one of the big reasons why I don't like this is now the big schools like UT, Bama, Notre Dame, they are flooded. They are flooded with cash, and they just get to hog talent now. And I'm really worried that this is what college football is going to be. There's going to be a lot of big name colleges hogging talent just because they have the funds to do so. And I'm going to get into why I'm so worried about this. Even though we're at Baylor, I'm going to tell you why I'm worried about this. Fun fact, one of the first schools to actually incorporate the NIL was actually Texas Tech. Texas Tech was one of the first schools to incorporate the NIL. Who knew? Now, this should have not just Baylor students, but the college aspect, the college community worried. Because now every college wants to be great at football, and they're going to do whatever it takes. UT is definitely going to take they're going to do whatever it takes to get the best. They just signed a $3.5 million contract with, if you haven't heard the name, Arch Manning, new QB, bloodline of the Manning brothers. I'm just at a loss. $3.5 million, and this kid is barely 18. So this is what college football has come to. So be on the lookout for NIL deals as Baylor finally gets into the rhythm of things. So moving on to happier times, here comes the Gold Rush. All right, new home schedule. Let's take a look at it. The Big 12 blessed us this year with 8 home games. I got it pulled up right here. We're going to go in. I'm going to give my very, very early predictions. First game, September 2nd, we verse Texas State. I'm going to see that as a win. Texas State, again, barely D1. All right, second game, home game, Utah, September 9th. Utah is notorious for beating ranked teams and being ranked themselves, just not too high. Even though this is at home, they beat USC. I'm going to see this as a hard loss. I'm going to see this as a loss. Then we got LIU. This is a win at home, September 16th. Then we have the last UT Baylor game of the Big 12 before they move over to the SEC, September 23rd. Very close game this year. We fell short, but with things turning around, with the amount of prospects coming in, and UT losing Bijan Robinson, their only answer to our defense, and we're at home, I'm going to see this as a win. Now, our first away game against UCF, September 30th, I'm going to see this as a win. UCF is, again, not to my knowledge, didn't play that well in their division, not that high up. Texas Tech, October 7th at home, I'm going to see that as a win. Even though Joey McGuire is rising, his coaching is very improving, and he's turned the Tech program into something that could be very big in the Big 12. I keep an eye out. Joey McGuire, side note, was our offensive coordinator about 2 years ago. Next up is Cincinnati away. Cincinnati is a big dog in the football world. I'm going to see this as a loss. Next up, Iowa State at home, October 26th. That's a win. Next up, newcomer, U of H at home, November 4th. I don't think this is going to be as much of a bloodbath as people may think. U of H has produced some top stars, but again, I don't think they have what it takes. I'm going to see it as a win for Baylor. Next up, we have Kansas State away at November 11th. I'm not going to lie, the K-State games are 50-50. We got blown out last time, and this is going to be away. Just playing it safe, I'm going to call this a loss. Then another away game, back-to-back. We have TCU, November 18th, excuse me. And they've had about 4, I believe, Alabama transfers. Now, the recruiting class wasn't as strong. And they are losing a lot of talent. They are losing Max Duggan. They're also going to be in a rebuilding year. But they have the expertise from the Bama players. Considering it's away, I'm very split on this. I'm actually going to keep it 50-50 for right now. And finally, the last game of the season is a home game, November 25th against West Virginia. We're looking for the bad blood. We're looking to stir it up. I'm going to see this as a win. So, where does that leave us? That is about an 8-4 season, maybe 9-3 if Baylor can squeeze it out. And where we end up, I think we end up maybe second. I'm pretty strong on my conviction that we will end up 3 or 4th in the Big 12. I think we'll come close, but no cigar. However, anything is better than last year's season. So, not much saying that. Also, side note, we don't play BYU, OSU, OU, or Kansas this year. So our last game playing OU, we end on a win. So let's take that. So now we get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty. Rebuilding the coaching staff. So if you haven't heard, Aranda has hired a new DC, Matt Powledge. He was originally here in the 2021 season, and he produced safeties like Jalen Petrie in the NFL. He had an outstanding rookie year with the Texans. He's a great hire. Lots of the players on the team love him. This is a big pickup, definitely needed for our culture fit. He moved to Oregon in 2022 season last year as their defensive coordinator. Next up is Christian Robinson. He's our linebacker coach. He's a big SEC coach from Auburn. This is a big pickup, definitely needed in our secondary department. Very excited to see what he does with our team and hopefully get some discipline in, which was very lacking last year. So, what can we look forward to? Well, we can look forward to new coaching staff, new players, new developments, and a new schedule, new teams to play. And 8 home games. So, lots of fun, lots of tailgating. I think we have a lot to be hopeful for coming into going into the offseason, going into the season. We have a lot to look forward to. Now, it's just going to come down to, can they get it done? Can they create the discipline and the culture to really reach these players' full potential and actually display that on the field. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, that is going to wrap up Bruiser's Locker Room. I appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning in, helping. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, concerns, what was good, what wasn't good. Just let me know. I need the tips, and hopefully we can have places like this. Shout out Mia for allowing me access to this place. I think it's very nice. And next time I'll try and do this once a month before the season starts, and then once the season starts, I'll probably do shorter episodes because I've got a lot on my plate. You'll have to bear with me. I am also a student here. This is just a passion thing I'm doing, but I'll try and be consistent. But I'm definitely going to do once a month leading into the season, and then try and do short episodes recapping the games, what went on, what the depth is. And so, yeah, stay tuned. Look forward to that. And again, thank y'all so much. Appreciate every single one of y'all. And I'll see y'all soon.